Good evening and welcome to Here's the Life with Zemrah and, of course, my better half, Ed.
You know it.
And as promised, we are having Dr. Suni, but we're having her call in. She had some news, so she's going to call
Travel
in
wise.
and we'll get a chance to talk about the subject of keeping your immune system up, and a subject that a lot of us um, kind of push away from, but mental health. And I think those are two subjects that are very, very important to know about and to kind of evaluate yourselves and look at yourselves, because a lot of times we always think that if there's a problem and you're looking at counseling or something like that, we always look at that as being you
Negative.
got some, yeah, some, right, negative. But it's a very wise person that understands that they might need a little help, and that seek it. And as long as you're seeking it with for your well-being, that's very, very important. So she's going to talk about, and it's always good. We know right in through here, they say the numbers are going up. That's a little wishy-washy, all of that. But you see a lot of large groups coming together, and it is very, very important to keep your immune system up. And I say either way, it's good to make sure that you just keep your immune system up.
That's,
So she's going to tell
that's
us,
your protection.
yeah. So she's going to tell us how she thinks we should do it. Dr. Suni is very, very informative on a whole lot of things. And I hate that she's been,
Delayed.
delayed and so many times. But that's why she said, I'll call in. So I just told her, well, that would be perfect because she has such good information to give us. So we're always open to that. So Ed, so what do you think people can do and be conscious of? We're going to hear Dr. Suni, but until she calls in, just what do you think is a good thing um, in keeping your immune system up? What is it that you do
Well,
besides eat all the good stuff that I cook you that's very nutritional? Ah,
well, that is true. It is true. Um, I guess the only thing I can say is get some understanding and do some research. Find out where is your immune system. What's the biggest part of your body? Is your lower region, your stomach area, and that's your immune system. That's the biggest immune system you have in your body, and get some understanding on how it works. Understand what it takes to keep it uh, flowing, to keep it disease free, and keep it from uh, create any type of infections in your stomach. And
is
how,
that why you sit up and eat 4, 5 turtles at a time?
yeah, because I can do that because I already know my system. And
So you say it's about knowing your system.
we don't know enough about ourselves. We don't study ourselves. You have to know yourself and know that your immune system is what keeps you alive. It's the one that fights all of the different diseases and infections that come to you that's in the whole world today because you're bombarded with it every day.
And
It's
what
in it.
count is that?
What's that?
What count is that?
What count? What do you mean count?
What like that's your white count. That's how your
Oh,
white
you're
count
talking
is
about the white cell count.
your
The white cell
cells. I
count
should have
is your
said that. I'm sorry.
yeah, white cell count is your protective system that protects your body. The
Yeah.
body is very
That's the
unique,
immune.
very unique creation because it basically can take care of itself if you give it what it needs to take care of itself. If you feed your immune system is designed to take care of you. But once it becomes attacked and weakened, and you don't feed it what it needs, then all types of illnesses can attack you. Even the little ones and the weak ones will get you because your body's not at its strength. You got to get your army set up and supply with what it needs to fight these things in the world. And the world is full of all kinds of challenges, and your system is designed to fight them.
Now, what's happening with this? With the children, with all of the with this. I didn't went blank, but it's something going on. Is it hepatitis for the kids?
Oh, I think they're bringing back new disease, old diseases,
Yeah.
hepatitis, saying that I, I, I'm kind of skeptical about the different things that they're saying that we should be afraid of because
The bird flu. Now they're saying about
they hurt because their whole job is to me, to keep you afraid and have you afraid of this or afraid of that and always on the lookout for this. So I you know I take all that kind of stuff with a grain of salt because things that have if you take care of yourself, you know, there's not a whole lot of things you need to take to eat uh, organic foods and drink good enough water, stay away from toxicities and whatnot, and keep your body flowing and keep your immune system clean. There's not a whole lot else you can do because medicine's not going to get it.
no.
Take as many as much as all natural herbs that you need that your body needs. Find out what the body needs and make sure it gets fed that.
Yeah, because those medications, I mean, people have to take their medications, but those medications, the side effects alone will say, what?
Right. The
It's
side
like you get rid of possibly what's going on, but then you're going to gain probably about 4 or 5 other
yeah,
problems.
if you heal your rash, but you might go blind or something. It's ridiculous. There's a risk of a heart attack or leaky gut. I don't need to treat a headache for that. It's stupid, when you think about it. So you got to be a little take everything with a grain of salt and do your own research and find out what your body needs and give it what it needs. Like I checked with the doctor and he said my vitamin D level was low. Well, I started taking vitamin D tablets.
Yeah, vitamin D is also good for the immune
Oh
system.
yeah, so I started taking that.
Yeah.
So and anything that's artificial methods on you find on. Do you know that America's the only country that advertises pharmaceuticals on TV?
Yeah.
Shouldn't that be the job of the doctor? They tell you to ask your doctor about what you need. He should be telling you
Well,
what
you
he's
got so
approved
many
of.
people nowadays that are so savvy, just like I do a lot of research and know, what does this and does that, and it's natural. And so because when you look again, when you look at what's in the medications and then the side effects, then it's just you can almost find a herb that will do it. The only thing about the herbs, they take a little longer, but in the long run it's probably
Well,
better.
the
But now if you have something really really major going on, then you can't wait on no herbs. You have to go ahead and take the medication that they prescribe. That is very very important to understand and to know.
herbs set up an environment that's conducive to your system that keeps things away from you, keeps you protected against certain things. So herbs takes a while to create that environment. Medicines react a lot quicker
Yeah.
and a lot stronger, and sometimes they don't know when to stop reacting, which creates some side effects that you may not like.
Yeah.
So if there again, then again, we need to study the body, study yourself, find out what you need, and then start taking it on a regular basis. It's not going to work overnight. Herbs take a while. Set up the environment, take it on a regular basis,
Yeah.
and so it's just like cancer. There are things that cancer hates, but it takes a while to create that environment. If you create that environment, it cannot live.
Yeah.
It has to leave you.
Yeah.
So find out what that is and what's good for you, what your body can handle, and take it on a regular basis. Be diligent and be consistent. And that's what it's because if you're serious about staying healthy, you don't need all these drugs these doctors are giving you. And they don't know half the ones they're giving you.
And that's very true. But then again, we're not doctors, so we can't say,
We can be
you have
you
to.
can you if you study enough, you can learn enough about herbs to know what's good for you and what's bad.
Well, we do.
You can do
I
that.
do. I
But you
know.
have to study and stop leaving it up to the doctors and do whatever they tell you. Ask them questions about whatever you say. Say, well, doctor, what is this you give me? What's the active ingredient? What's my benefit taking it? Not tell me what the side effects are.
Yeah.
And give me what the downside is, because I might not like the downside.
Right. Right.
And so if he doesn't know, I'm definitely not taking it.
Yeah.
He should study and he should know, especially this stuff on TV. In the past, pharmaceutical companies, when they came up with a new drug, they would bring it to the doctors. They would inform the doctor and teach the doctor and tell them what the drug does and tell them the benefits of the drug. Then the doctor would suggest it to you. They'd get totally the other way around. They bring it to the public and tell them, ask your doctor to give you this after
Yeah.
we told you what it is. No, my doctor didn't say it, you did. and I don't know enough about it to tell him to give me this. And since it's not over the counter and I got to pay for it, I need to know a little more about it
Oh,
than you
absolutely.
just telling me. Ask my doctor.
Yeah, because even these all of this weight loss stuff, I just feel like it's just, oh my God, they got another weight loss thing out where you can eat what you keep eating whatever you want to. You don't have to exercise, none of that, and you lose all the belly fat if you do this fizzy drink every morning. And
Well, it sounds good if you lazy and trifling. You don't want to do nothing for yourself. You
yeah,
want to
but
take you want to take the easy way out.
I'm sure that that doesn't work.
No,
Otherwise, I mean, people, please, I'm sure that that really is something that
I don't
does
think I'd
not
want
work.
to take it if it did
And then when
work.
you're talking about a container for $69, and then if you get three, it's $170 some dollars, and I mean, go up to 200 and some dollars, and then you get that stuff, and it doesn't even work. It doesn't even make sense.
No.
And that's something too that you have to be kind of conscious of because a lot of people do that. They got these gimmicks on these on the internet,
Because it
and if you
sounds
don't be
good.
if you don't right, and
It's
they
the
dress
easy
that
way
up,
out. It's the easy,
yeah,
oh Lord, I get rid of this. I can get rid of this in 2 weeks. It seems
yeah,
all I gotta do is take this. No,
yeah,
it doesn't work like that.
yeah. It really doesn't, and you should know your body better than that too. But a lot of times, sugar is something that's major too.
Sugar
Sugar
is just like
is
it's in everything.
yeah. It is. I mean, even if I mean, sugar's in ketchup. It's in, I mean, the little things that you would think. I mean, I think Paul Newman has a dressing that I think that might be one of the main dressings. I think that he has a, dressing that does not have sugar in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does excessive amount of sugar do to the body? What does it do?
Well, it can cause a lot. It can cause sugar diabetes. I mean, not that actual sugar, because more starch causes sugar diabetes, but too much sugar is just not good for your system. Period. I mean, it causes inflammation. Um,
Raise your glucose level.
yeah,
And sugar actually has no redeeming value.
no more than make. Well, it do have a redeeming value.
No, I mean,
Make
other than
food
that,
taste good.
just taste it. That's it, taste.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's no vitamin type benefit to it at
Okay,
all.
we got a. Let me see who we got. We got Jane. Sugar can kill you.
James,
Now that's the truth. And you're right, James. Sugar sure can kill you. That's why we have to. You have to. It's really not. And unfortunately, like we say, it's in everything. But no, it's not. It's not cool at all. Not cool at all. Let me
so,
see if I can. Let me add. Okay, then that way maybe I
because
can. Oh, there you are.
who is that?
And then we got.
We were checking online for who's making
Right.
comments.
Yeah,
Who's that?
that's their Jane. So yeah, so it's very very important for people to understand that the problem the problem with sugar, that it's just not really good.
Well, at least one thing it would do is give people
And
put
it's
people
and like
attention.
Jane said, it's hard to get anything which because it's in everything. I
Right.
mean, it's something they even say even with honey is can be good, but you shouldn't use too much honey either.
And that's a natural sweetener.
Yeah,
Who's that?
it's still Jane, and it has an addictive quality. And you are so right about that, Jane. It really does.
Well, that's whole.
It can become addictive.
Well, that's the whole program behind the food industry to get you addicted to something.
Hello.
Have you buying and eating, and you don't even know why.
Yes.
You just got a habit formed to do it that you are crave it for no
Yes.
reason.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not that it's no reason. It's that sugar that's in it, and then you do begin to crave it. Sugar can be like she said, it can kill you.
It's
It
addictive.
is not. It's not cool.
It's addictive.
Yes. It can be very very damaging to the system, and I believe this is Dr. Sooning about now. Okay, so we're gonna let you hear a little bit of Love is Possible from Zemrah.
And we come
And then
back.
when we come back, we have Dr. Suni. Love is possible when you believe that it is. Love is possible when you know that it is. When you feel like there's no hope for love, you can make your dreams come true. If you know just what to do, you just think. Love is possible when you believe that you're free. Love is possible when you are here with IntellectualRadio.com with Here's the Life with Zemrah and Ed. And we've been having Jane to share some information, kind of agreeing with us. And we got Peggy on there too. Hey, Peggy. Wonderful, wonderful sister that did a lot of help with our concert when we had our husband see it. It was a dynamic guitarist and musical director. So we have now joining us the lovely Miss Dr. Suni.
The world's greatest natural healer.
Dr. Suni.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we're sorry we couldn't get you in the studio, sweetheart, but
yeah, I was in my car heading that way, and my tire said, "N-O no."
Oh wow. Well, we're gonna say YES that you joining us on the phone, and let me ask you. Ed and I were just talking about just killing a little time till you called in. We were talking about a little bit about like what we wanted you to talk about, the immune system, and then we kind of got off on sugar and the detriment that sugar can have to your system. And even one of our people that is on live with us, she was saying how sugar can really kill you, but it's almost like you can't get around it because it is in everything. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about, like we discussed, is how to keep up your immune system.
Okay. So going back to your topic the concern about sugar. When I was in a vibrational nutrition class, and we discovered, or in our research, there's lots of types of sugar. So the body does have to have a source of sugar, basically from, if possible, from a plant source. But there's other sugars that are not so detrimental because it doesn't raise your glycemic index. So when you said, it's almost impossible to get around it. So I teach label reading because you got to know what type of sugar may be placed inside of a substance or added to something that's in a box or a can or whatever.
Okay.
So this is why we get more. We want you to do more 80%, 85% plant-based, because the sugars that are there, God put them there for a reason, because your mitochondria needs the fuel from glucose. So I kind of don't speak on sugar, I speak on glucose.
Got it.
Which is the term for sugars.
Okay.
It turns into a chemical substance that fuels your cellular makeup, your mitochondria. And so the carbohydrates, it comes in complex and simple. Simple is how your system releases the sugars in a plant-based product. And then if you're looking at something that's not plant-based and it's from a box or a can, you need to read it so you'll know what type of sugar is there and then what's the percentage of that sugar getting into your system, maybe spiking your blood sugar, your dose, or keeping it so it's okay and it's fueling you. So we discussed in that class the different names that sugar has or glucose has. So
Okay.
that's something that people need to kind of focus in on, because you've got your xylitol, you've got your stevia, you've got agave, you've got cane sugar, you've got raw sugar, you've got refined sugar, which is really the lowest in vibration, because now we look, I'm teaching in my class, team members and those who are doing further studies realize that the lowest vibration from refined sugar is what offsets the glycemic index in your body, and then your pancreas has to produce too much insulin in order to get all that released sugar into cells. If that happens too frequently, then the cell itself becomes resistant to the insulin and doesn't take the key from the insulin, which is opens the door for the cells to receive it. Then that sugar remains in your bloodstream, and that's what causes issues with, what they've labeled as diabetic, pre-diabetic, and those kind of things. So you have these spikes when the sugar is low, then the spike goes up, and it's back and forth. Your cells get kind of like, dizzy, just like, being on a merry-go-round or being on a roller coaster, up 1 minute, down the next, up 1 minute, down the next. So we look at and we teach what types of sugars are in something. Corn syrup is very, very high on the glycemic index level.
Yes, it is.
But it is too much
Yes.
at one time. Then your body, your pancreas got to try to figure out there's no enzymes available. It's a sort of a shock.
Yeah.
And if this happens frequently, the body really begins to lower its ability to handle all of that.
Now, what do you think of what do you think of cane sugar?
Cane sugar?
Yes.
Okay, I go back into history. When people of color were removed from the major continent that orchestrated all of life, was the hub of all life in Africa, we were not taken to North America first. We were taken to Central and South America, because there were a lot of sugar plantations or plantations that grew sugar canes. It was the greatest economical product that was being produced out of the soil that God put there. So that was where they took us, because that's what produced a lot of money for those individuals that wanted to be have more money than they needed to have by taking people away from their normal habitat to mine the sugar plantations. Okay. So obviously cane sugar was something that God wanted us to have, because they were fighting to get us there on the sugar plantations in order for us to till that land and produce the sugar from the soil.
Oh, okay.
Later we came to North America, and this is when cotton came into existence. But cotton was not the mainstay when they first extracted us from the African. It was sugar plantations.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, cane sugar has a benefit for mankind.
Oh, okay.
Why would God make a lot of sugar plantations, or what we say cane sugar plantations? Well, why were people taking there to mine them for economic purposes?
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So, now, what do you think about honey? Some people say that honey is good for you, and then sometimes honey is not. It depends on what kind of honey.
Right? If it's been refined, if it's been altered, and the other part of that is, why would a bee? See, I go back to God's original plan. Why would a bee be able to extract from a source and then go and take the pollen from a flower and then go and create a hive and create honey if it wasn't necessary? There's a lot of vitamins in honey, raw honey. But again, based on the person's condition currently, when they begin to consume those things, is what makes the effect differently. But obviously God, in his wisdom, knew that he wanted a bee to produce honey for the essence of giving us fuel inside of our bodies. So raw honey, in different ways that you get honey, if it's not refined and haven't been altered, we take the stuff and change the chemistry of it.
Yes.
For what reason? I have
I
no
don't know.
idea.
Right, right, right.
So, what's the point? God knew what he was doing,
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah.
So honey has its purpose, and it's a lot of B vitamins in honey, which is it helps with your gut area to produce the vitamins necessary for the brain. So vitamin B actually is brain food. That's why they call it vitamin B.
That's what we were just
And
saying. We were
Yep.
just talking about vitamin D and vitamin. You said B though,
B, she
right?
said B.
B like a boy.
B,
Yeah.
B, right.
Yeah.
And honey is loaded with vitamin Bs.
Oh
Different
wow.
B, because you have B1, B2, B3, B6, B9, B12.
Yes.
You got a lot of Bs.
Yeah. That's why it's good when you do the B complex, because that you get all your B's with that.
And quite a bit of it, except for B9 and B12. So sometimes you have to find something that will give you that outside of the B complex, but that's okay. It's available.
Yeah.
So B vitamins are so necessary, and because they're water soluble, you have to put it into your body every day. Especially because we're using a lot of brain power, because we're on computers and we're draining our brain fuel because the radiation emitted out of a computer or on your phones and different things like that, all that out of your head. So you need to replace that because your body is using it for brain fuel.
So it's almost like recharging your batteries.
So honey, again, is like the sugar. What kind is it? Where did it come from? Who refined it? Why is there an issue with bees? They were saying, I think a couple of years ago, they were saying that bees were becoming, well, who was destroying the bees and why?
Okay, we have a question, Dr. Sony. How could we use honey? How can we use honey?
You use, in fact, I got somebody was here when I had a little health challenge, and it was almost like a sucker, a lollipop, and it just sucked it, and we got the essence from it, pollen that was inside of that particular honey. But you can use honey in different ways, depending on where it's coming from and how is it. You can use it in your teas. You can use it in some recipes, cooking recipes. You get some holistic books, recipe books, raw recipes sometimes with salads and different things. You might want to just drop a little bit of honey in there. You could take a toothpick, and just dip your toothpick in there and just lace a beverage or whatever with the little honey, so it's not a whole lot of it. So it's different ways to use honey.
Yeah, because I put a little honey in my smoothies.
Yeah, it just but you don't need a lot. Because just the fruit themselves is releasing a lot of this natural sugars. So then the honey is just enough, to just kind of give you a little sweet taste. Well, our taste buds have been adulterated for some time based on the foods that are presented to us in our local stores and whatnot. We don't eat from local farms, what do you call that? The markets that come during the summertime or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Farmers market.
Yeah, the farmers market, Dr. Sony.
Farmers market, people local would bring their substances. That's a lot better than waiting until it comes from XYZ in another city somewhere.
Yeah, those farmer markets are really, really nice. So now
we were supposed to eat that way and shop that way, but the honey will, lace something and give us that little taste that we're looking for. Because again, we've gotten so used to having a sugary taste, but those taste buds has more than just sugar and more than just salt. It's bitter, it's sour, it's all of that. So we just get our taste buds back together.
Now,
we're not always looking for sugar.
Now, what is your take on, because I think that's something too that raises your immune system too. What is your take on apple cider vinegar? What is the downside of apple cider vinegar? Because now they even have the gummies, which are wonderful. But what is the downside of apple cider vinegar and the upside, or is it a downside?
So you say downside. The only thing that something natural like that, downside is maybe you're taking too much of it, and maybe your system. It depends on people's system. So that's why I don't recommend anything till I know and have a history of this person's body that's presented in front of me. What is going on with you? Because everybody presents differently.
Right.
Based on what they, how they came up or what they're doing now and how they changed this, that, and the other. So in excess, anything can be harmful.
Well, yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
So if a person's gut is compromised, in fact, mostly everything that a person say, oh, well, I have that and I'm dealing with that and I have allergies, that it's a gut issue.
Yeah.
So we get the gut back into balance. You got so many feet and so many the width of the small intestines could actually line up a tennis court. Your large bowel is shorter, but it has a wider diameter, so it holds a lot in it. But then, why is it holding so much? Why isn't it just passing through? Well, the muscle might be weak, so it's not getting enough of a stimulation for the muscle to continue to squeeze and move your waste material out of the body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the apple cider vinegar, if it's in excess and the person is taking it too often, or they taking it in a capsule, they taking it in the juice, they taking it in the gum, or whatever, and their gut may be a little out of balance and is compromised, then the acid leaks through and can create an immune response that you might not. So then we look at what is your gut health? How is your gut health so that you're not leaking things out? So leaky gut has become very common, but then there's 3 ways that the gut is leaky. So we look at that. And then there's a lot of laboratories now that a person could send in some a species to see where and how their gut is leaking. So there's a couple of proteins that could be present that can be causing some problems. Zonulin, what they call LPS, or lipid polysaccharide, or either what they call diamine oxidase. And so one is actually opening up those tight junctions and allowing things to just pour in undigested into your bloodstream. Well, you're going to have an immune response immediately. But if you got some other things going on that your body is handling, then your immune system is like going haywire, because you have immune cells from mouth to anus.
Wow.
65% of immune tissue is in your gut for a reason. Because things have to go there first to be distributed into the bloodstream.
Now,
if that's compromised,
I'm sorry. Yeah. Now, what can cause the thickening of the lining, say, in your colon?
Too much debris been in there for too long, and things coming in causing a rough road. It's like you're traveling down a road, like across the street from me, about maybe 2-3 minutes away, in a parking lot where there's a McDonald's, there's a car wash, and there's the Dusty's restaurant. Well, and it used to be a grocery store and some other stuff over there. So that lot gets a lot of traffic, but it hasn't, because some of those places are closed, that the pavement hasn't been getting any care. But there's cars just constantly coming through, because they're going into the lot to McDonald's, they're going and passing and going over to the Dusty's or the barbecue place, or they're going to so all that fume and different gases and whatnot, and the wear and tear has torn the lot up. So you could be driving, you ain't paying attention, and you go, boom.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're taking in a lot of substances that's getting some wear and tear on the lining of the gut of your large bowel. And so the body naturally is trying to always patch up things. Well, if it's always patching it up, it keeps patching it up using a plaque, using cholesterol, packing it. Now it's hardened and it's still full of feces, and then the road is narrow, so you can hardly get things through.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to cleanse it, chisel it down. You can use some products that have L-arginine, that's amino acids, and just do some cleansing to get the lining,
get it thinned down,
and then heal and tone the lining with chlorophyll, liquid chlorophyll. Bentonite draws liquid bentonite draws it away from the wall. And then, of course, just any of your positive nutrients and super minerals will help to replenish the land. It's like God told us to do. Replenish, restore, rebuild.
So Dr. Suni, what would you advise someone to do to get an initial assessment of their current condition so they can determine how to start cleaning up their immune system so they know where they are right now and what's way to do that? I mean, is there a place to do that? Do someone you know, or do you do assessments?
Yeah, my place.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
I just got board certified, so then I have a couple of people on my team that are certified health coaches, and we learn how to use muscle response testing. We also have a link to some laboratories where we can send off the saliva or whatever. I also have what they call REAM. It's a way that we take your saliva or your urine and we can put it in a refractometer and all of that and see how much salt is present, how much carbohydrates is present, and then take that formula and see where you are, and then create a way to balance it off. So many different assessment tools. I have the iridology camera. We've got many ways to assess.
Well, since you've already paid for the advertisement, you can go ahead and give us your information about how to get in touch.
You asked the question. Well, my number to reach me to determine if you have a conversation to determine if you would like to be assessed in the different ways that we do it here is 312-843-2566.
Say this one more time because you're breaking up.
312-843-2566.
Oh, okay.
And then we got another question too, Dr. Suni. My battery is going down. But anyway, is it true that beef stays on the lining a long time?
Wait a minute, you kind of broke up a little bit. You said, is it what?
Is it true that beef stays on the lining a long time? In other words, does beef stay in your system a long time? Is it hard to digest?
The red beef, B-E-E-T-S?
B-E-E-F. Beef, meat.
Oh, beef.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they can. Especially, most people today are totally dehydrated. We're not taking in the water right. So we have some frequency devices that help to break down or allow your body to receive the water linearly, so you can get rid of the humidity or the water retention and then get the water into the cells. And we also, have some ways that we use the super minerals to get in and then allow the cells to receive the water. And then you can actually do manipulation, stimulation with either massage or some of our frequency devices will break that hardened beef down and get that water in there and act like just sort of like a river starts flowing more frequently and with a little bit more force to pull that beef out. So I tell, and this was years ago when I first started actually studying this whole stuff. And Asura Majun was the nutritionist, iridologist at the time. We were going on her classes. And so, she says, and I'm sure she got this from when we were studying iridology, you put in, say if you eat 3 meals a day, each of those meals has a meat substance, particularly beef, and you only you only get rid of 1 meal per day. You just took in 21 meals. Where's the other 14?
So in other words, you're supposed to eliminate, you're saying, after every meal.
You should, just like a baby and a puppy.
Yeah.
But because we're not hydrated enough and because we're not eating fiber enough out of our foods, and the plant-based foods are not more than the meat substance, then it stays in the system too long. And if it stays there too long, it hardens. And then if it hardens, it sets up like a symbiotic relationship with parasites and fungus and mold and yeast and things like that. And it grows there. Then you have what they call CIBO, CIOB, which is small intestine overgrowth bacteria. Now you got unfriendly bacteria growing even more rapidly. So probiotics or prebiotics that you can get from health food stores or, people who have those. Sometimes we have access to some really good ones. And also, yogurt and things that are good yogurt, not just any kind of. Some yogurts have too much sugar in it, but to kind of feed the friendly bacteria so it can grow and replenish and overtake the unfriendly bacteria, and then you can diminish the overgrowth of yeast or the overgrowth of fungus and things like that. But that water is so key, and also, like I said, bentonite, liquid bentonite moves all that away. But that beef sit there too long, you're gonna have some unfriendly critters meeting you there, meeting you in your intestines.
See, now I take a probiotic for women now. I was taking just this other one from the vitamin shop, their brand, but now I take the garden. I forget garden something, but it's 50 billion, and it's for women over 50. And it's really good. I'm very pleased with it. I've been on it now for probably about a month, and it works with the woman's vaginal area. It works with the gut and the immune system. And it's
wonderful.
Yeah.
It's one of the good products, and stay with it. And then once the body gets into balance, you can move on to you don't need to do. You can do it through your food, the plant-based foods. So the prebiotic is what feeds the probiotic, so it can keep replenishing itself.
Yeah.
See, everything inside the body has a message that's already built into the DNA. God already gave the message, but we don't give the body the tools in order to keep it going. Once you get into homeostasis and balance, then all you do is just do maintenance.
Now tell us a little bit about, and I know you know about all of the different mushrooms and the advantage and the because all that's good too for your immune system. Tell us a little bit about that. The value of the mushrooms supplements.
You have different mushrooms.
Right.
That like reishi, and I think it's reishi, shiitake, cordyceps.
The turkey tail.
The turkey tail is another one that's even a little high. Oh shoot, I got something. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, especially reishi mushroom, it really, really fortifies the part of the immune system that begins to reach out and attack foreign substances that's in there.
Yeah.
So it helps to really, really heighten some of those neutrophils and the basophils and the eosinophils and all of those things, all your fields, the fields family in the those immune cells. And then the shiitake really gets in there, and it really helps to keep the pancreas happy, and then helps. Eventually, some people find that they use the shiitake and their blood sugar gets balanced and stuff. Cordyceps gives you a lot of energy. Usually, the Japanese in their sports, their athletics, they use a lot of cordyceps. Gives them stamina and energy and everything. So each mushroom has a different purpose, but they're all beneficial. You make sure you get a high quality one that doesn't have a lot of mold in the product and all of that, and you're going to get great benefits from your mushroom.
Yeah, because they have one called MO, and it has a variety of them, and it's a powder, which they say that really and truly the tinctures are better than the powders anyway. But I use that as well in my smoothie.
Okay.
Yeah. So
mushrooms have a great benefit in the body.
Can I get some of this smoothie? I mean,
now see the only thing
they're called mycomedicinals, and those are the ways that the mushrooms are kind of labeled, and based on which ones they are, they're doing different things. So you get good benefits out of good quality mushrooms.
Yeah. So the basis of keeping your immune system is to do what?
Feed it what it needs.
Yeah. That you said it in one nice quick sentence.
Yeah.
But to keep substances that will activate the immune system to be on guard or on fight mode all the time. So you let it rest, let it just be ready. But every time you have a reactive something comes in and it sets it off, and your immune system is working too hard. So by the time something really heavy comes in, it's too busy trying to handle all these various conditions, especially residue from excessive medication. So your immune system is always on doing stuff. It's just too much, and especially if you're not feeding just so that you have good strong immune cells.
Yeah.
So when we do our scan, we do something where we use a scan. It gives us some educational information, and we scan. We have you speak. Then also it'll run its remote. You don't even have to be where I am. Everything is frequencies now. Jesus said that long time ago. Speak the word and use certain vibrational frequencies, and you ain't got to be where I'm at. He said, "Go back. Your servant will be healed. It's done."
Yeah.
Well, we're in that era now. We have a lot. I teach a lot of that, and we have a lot of frequencies, and I work with a lot of doctors in quantum physics. So we're in another mode right now. We're in quantum physics mode right now. We have to be in order to raise our frequencies higher than these low frequencies that's causing havoc on the earth.
Yeah.
So when we do the scan, we can see where, which one of those immune cells needs fortifying. So then that's what we can recommend the mushrooms, or we recommend, green plants, especially the wheatgrass and soup, what do you call that? The blue-green algae and things like that. That fortifies, keeps that immune system strong enough so when the big guns come in, the big gun in the immune system can say, you got to get up out of here. And you get the signals from the cells that recognize that and go to work and excrete it out of the body as soon as possible.
Okay.
Hey, Dr. Suni, Dr. Suni, has any of the hospital or clinics or medical associations been interested or wanted to learn about holistic type medicines that you're talking about as to be introduced?
Any hospitals and clinics do what now?
Have they been educated, or have they sought any information from the holistic community about alternative healing, alternative medicine?
But as a whole, that's not their job. That's not what they do. It's not what they were trained to do. And you have some facilities, some doctors who will team with a holistic practitioner who's qualified. And I work with several medical doctors who are also doing holistic, or they combine their resources, because when they take that oath, they really can't do both. Or they can take the training to do both, but they have to get permission from their system. They're under strict jurisdiction. So it has its rules and regulations for a reason, which we won't discuss over the phone.
I understand. I know.
Some doctors are moving into that arena because they're seeing so many good results from people when they combine with someone who's professionally trained in the area of holistic practices, and then they team up and they work really well together. I got two that I work with, actually three, that are really concerned and are doing. They have an MD, but they also are doing natural medicine. They're doing quantum physics. They're doing those kind of things because they're saying, we want our patients. Some people, they have a humanitarian heart to really help people.
But that's what you should have when you become a doctor. You should, once you take the oath to say.
We all know for sure that don't always happen.
Yeah, you said, because your job is to do no harm and to seek the best treatment for your patients.
Said, but that doesn't always happen. And we already know that.
You know that. But I know now. I noticed that Northwestern has a portion of a clinic area that works with natural. Holistic, and then they also have, and a lot of doctors I know.
It's preventive. It's preventive.
Yes.
It's for preventive purposes.
Yes.
So they can't say that you're going there to get corrected. That's what they say, and they want you, the holistic person, to stay out of that arena. Yeah. But we can use you for preventive purposes. Now, if your body gets corrected in the process, then hey, thank God. But that's not what they have that for. It's for preventive purposes.
Because they even have a area. Now, you don't find a lot of places or not a lot of facilities are not up on lymphedema. So you get, like I've said before on our show, you get women that are heavy legs, heavy thighs, their hips are real big, and they might think that it's coming from actual weight, but they need to find out and inquire and see if that is absolutely lymphedema, because lymphedema is can be it can have you weighing weight, and you think that it's weight from you eating or whatever, but it is absolutely a condition. Now, you familiar with lymphedema, Dr. Sony?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and it can be it can be very misleading, and a lot of people, and then they say a lot of doctors are not up on that. They really and truly don't know, so they guess, and then if it's gone too, if it winds up going on too long without being treated, then it could be some problems.
Well, that can be added to a long list of things that doctors don't know about.
Yeah, yeah. Well, lymphedema can be it can be something. So next time, Dr. Sony, I'm going to. We're almost running out of time, but that is something that I would like for you to expound on, because I think a lot of women, it would just shock them, because they don't really and truly know to address that this is really where the heaviness is coming from. And if a doctor is not really up on it or doesn't know that this is what the issue is, then they tell them that it's that you're just big and heavy, and that's not always the
So
case.
in the holistic arena, we look for the root cause of why things have kind of went astray, and not so much deal with the condition as it's presenting itself, what they call symptoms in the medical field.
Yes.
So I don't deal with symptoms because I'm not in the medical field, but I am in the holistic field. And so we look for the root cause, and then we begin to strengthen the body and fortify the system so that the body can use what you present to it and begin to do its self-healing process, because it is a self-healer.
Yes.
But it does need your assistance, and it needs your help. And it also needs your mindset. It also needs your speaking the proper words, speaking what God said. And your body will recognize that as a frequency and begin to use it, and you'll have internal healing that will take place.
Yeah, and you have to say, "I'm perfect, whole, and complete in your body." Well, Dr. Sony, I am so glad that we were able to
Get you on.
get you on. And as always, you always have a complete, just a wonderful fulfillment of information that can be used and really valued. And we appreciate your knowledge, because it is so important that we as a people understand that our bodies have the ability to heal and correct itself, but we have to have the understanding of what we need to do to maintain good health. So you always have a multitude of information that I just really and truly love and value you. So next month, we'll get you back in the studio. And, I really would like for you to expound on, lymphedema and some other things that you're doing and working on, and talk a little bit about the scan, how you all have the ability to scan a person's body and find out exactly what's going on and be able to begin the healing, or at least address whatever is going on and give someone some direction. So again, if anyone is interested out there,
I appreciate your invitation every time, and I plan to have some new tires and won't be able to.
New tires on.
Yeah.
New tires on the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And with everything, with the gas and everything, you can always come our way and just ride in with us too, because that's a long way. So you can kind of think about that too.
Yes, ma'am. We'll work that out.
All right, sweetie. Okay, well, again, thank you for joining us this evening. We always love having you. And give your phone number out again. So if anyone out there would be interested in contacting you, again, it's give your number, Doctor.
Okay, 312
312
843
843
25 66.
Okay, so sweetie, we want to again thank you. I want you to enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'm just happy for you that you didn't get on the highway or anything and the tires went out or whatever. So, God don't make no
Yes,
errors. So we're glad that it did work out for you.
yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay.
you all.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Dr.
sweetie.
Suni. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Yes, ma'am. You too. Y'all.
And Jane Miles Pewitt, she said, um, look for her to be calling you. And she said, thank you. Her name is Jane Miles Pruitt. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Yes.
right. Thanks, Jane. All right. Have a good evening, sweetie. Bye bye. Thanks out there. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Like Jane asks questions, which I really appreciate. And she was really into everything. And that's what we need, you to call in and, ask questions. And, if we've got somebody on that can certainly answer it. Dr. Suni is always so good. But like us on Facebook, make comments on my Facebook, Zemrah1 at yahoo.com. If you can, Zemrah1, the number one, at yahoo.com. You can go to that's my email. You can go, and if there's a subject you want us to talk about or whatever, we will be more than glad to do that. So like us on Facebook again. Go to all the streaming if you want to get my CDs. Love is Possible. Just check us out. And we hope that you, as always, we want to thank our producer for having this wonderful platform for us to be able to express and to share.
Right here on Intellectual Radio, where you can get understanding, get you some wisdom, get you some information, but all you're getting, get you some understanding about who you are and what you are.
And
I'd like to thank Earl for giving me an opportunity in this lovely facility to let me be myself again.
have a wonderful night.
Love is possible. Love is possible.